Morning, guys. Raptor Freak Alexiot's here. Starting a little later because I slept in. Snowy morning. I took a little page from Paul B's book and slept in on a Saturday morning. But I'm here now, and I'm here to preview the Golden State Warriors game tonight, 7:30, Scotiabank Arena. And well, there's interesting news this morning. No, a lot of the Warriors players did not even come on the trip into Canada. They won their game against Boston last night by 4 points, and a lot of them just got on a flight straight back to California. They're not even coming into Canada. They don't even want to hassle with this pandemic and trying to cross a border and come into the country. So there's a lot of pretty much all the big names on the Warriors are not playing today. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins. Who else? And Andre Iguodala. I mean, the list is crazy. There's no Jordan Poole because of COVID protocol. And then these other guys, they didn't even travel. Otto Porter Jr., James Wiseman, he's still out. And it's going to be, there's 9 people coming for Warriors. Good morning, MK. Yeah, this was shocking news. I just read it just now. They're sending 9 players. Kevon Looney is probably the most regular player out of their lineup that's playing today. And then it's going to be like Moses Moody and Gary Payton II, and just different guys like that. We're going to have to play. We're now the favorites, 8.5 point favorites over the Warriors for tonight. So this is a must-win game now. Kuminga is going to be here. Bajelica is here. Moody is here. Damian Lee, Chris Chioza, and that's, Juan Toscano Anderson. These are all their bench and G League guys that are going to be facing the Raptors today. So the Raptors have to make sure they win. We had a great opportunity against Brooklyn this week with them being really short-staffed, and we squandered that opportunity. We cannot do that today. Steve Kerr's sending this team here today because he wants to test them. He wants to test them and see how they can do against us. And it's going to be tough. We really need to step up to this because we can't let them win. We honestly cannot let Golden State win today with who they're sending here. Like, all these guys didn't even come into Canada. They went straight back to Golden State, and they sent the B team. And we need to make sure that they know that they can't get away with doing that. So MK saying Kuminga versus Scotty is the matchup to watch. Yeah, that'll be interesting. It'll be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people we were saying earlier this week, if we had stayed in the draft in the position that we thought we would be in, that Kuminga might have been the draft pick that we got in the draft. So it's going to be very interesting. Now, looking at our guys and what's been happening in the last few days, I'm positive Precious is going to play today. But Kem's probably not going to play for sure. They're saying his knee is still not 100%, but at least he's practiced the last 2 days. Like, Kem has been in practice the last 2 days. So is OG. And I think they're about the same. I think OG may actually play today. He could. Andrew, let's go. I don't think this is the biggest game of the season anymore, man. You don't know. None of these guys are coming here. They're not even going to go deal with customs or get anything like that. They don't even want to take the chance. So Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, Andrew Wiggins, Otto Porter Jr., they all got in a plane and went back to Golden State. They didn't even come to Canada. They left Boston and went straight back to California. And it's at 4:30 today. The game's at 4:30. That was supposed to be at 7:30. Thank you for telling me that, because all the listings were saying that it was at is it 4:30? Really? I gotta check this, because I was seeing that the game was no, it's 7:30, man. The game's still at 7:30 tonight. It's not at 4:30. OG and Precious are going to play today. All right, Alistair. This is definitely a must-win that G's saying right here, because we're going to have almost full strength again, and these guys are sending us their B team. It's like they're insulting us. So, this is going to be fun. This is going to be awesome to see everybody together and get some synergy. Maybe it'll be good because we're playing against guys that aren't as seasoned and talented and vets. So maybe we can get away with easing these guys back in the lineup from injury and get some good synergy and just get this win, because this is a must win. This is a must win. If they're going to send their B team here and not even send any of their all-stars, any of their important players, which is the other thing about it that is really weird is, think about this. This would have been the first time that Golden State had come back and played on our home court since they lost their championship here. to us. You know, that since they lost the championship to us, the last time Golden State has played on the Scotiabank Arena court was in the NBA Finals in 2019. That they didn't make it the year of the pandemic because their game was after the pandemic started, and then they didn't play here last year because of Tampa. So this would have been the first time that Steph Curry and Draymond Green would have set foot on our court again. And no, they're not going to. They're going to pass on it. They're going to go ahead and go home, and they're not even going to show up tonight. So everybody who's trying to scrap and get a game ticket tonight and all this kind of stuff, you better be ready to just see Kevon Looney and Gary Payton II and Jonathan Kuminga, because that's the superstars they're bringing this week. That's what showed up at Pearson today. So that is crazy. It's going to be all rookies. It's going to be really important that we win this. And you know what? Honestly, after losing to Brooklyn the way we did the other night, we should have won that game too. With them being shorthanded, we had a lot of advantages. So we need to do this one for sure. And I'm going to be really upset if we lose this game today for any kind of reason. I don't care what the reason is. There's no way we should lose this game today. And if there's some messed up crap that happens because we don't play well or something like that, I'm going to be really upset. I'm not going to lie. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Morning, Sue. Who's left to play for the Warriors? I know. It's crazy. Like I was saying, I think it's Looney, Kuminga. Jordan Poole's not even going to be there. So, yeah. Okay, yeah, you were seeing Pacific time. Okay, thank God. You gave me a heart attack for a second, Andrew, because I was like, man, did they change this game to 4:30 because of some weird shit with the, whatever's going on with stuff like that? It could be that they're traumatized of the Scotiabank Arena and they don't want to come back here. They're scared of us. Oh, Starscream's here. Good morning, Nets fan. Hey, man, look what we did to Philly. You guys gave us a much better game. I was right to fear the Raptors over the other teams. Hey, all right, Once again, that game was really tough this week. I'm really mad that we lost to y'all because, honestly, with your shorthandedness, we should have capitalized, but we didn't take advantage of that opportunity. And kudos to Kevin Durant, an all-time great and a Hall of Famer. And I'm glad you guys beat Philly. Honestly, since you have respect for us, I have a little bit more respect for Brooklyn just because you come in here as a good Samaritan from your group and talk to us, Starscream. So maybe you're actually a peace instigator between our franchises. Maybe it's going from an F Brooklyn to maybe a meh Brooklyn. I don't know. Yeah, it's insane who's out for Golden State today. And I hate this. I hate this. And then honestly, part of it's that's insulting is that all these other teams in the league right now are having to go get G League players and fill things up. Like Orlando's coming here on Monday, and a whole bunch of their guys are going to be G League fill-ins because they have COVID protocol guys out. That it's insulting that the Warriors have all these guys and they're going to do this. I mean, it's strategic in a way. And I thought this kind of thing might happen this year because of our border and because of this pandemic, that some guys are just going to choose. They don't want to even take the hassle. And Steve Kerr is making a coach decision to say, we won this road trip. We have a winning record on this road trip. This game isn't as important to us, this Toronto game, and come in here. So we're going to send our important guys back home to get an extra day of rest and not even have to deal with the travel to snowy Canada, because it is snowing right now. There's a ton of snow just coming down on the ground. So they said at the airport at Logan last night in Boston, they were like, do we want to go get on a plane and fly to Toronto and play the Raptors in Scotiabank Arena where we have trauma and sadness? Or do we want to go home where it's hot and warm and it's California? And I guess that's what they did. So it's very interesting. Now, yeah, these are some interesting comments you guys got here. All right, let's see. The Nets beat the Sixers after us, so I don't feel as bad. Yep. Katie's generational talent. You guys ran out of gas. That's all. Yeah, Fred hits a couple shots here. We have our legs. Things are a little better. Claxton is a great piece for the Nets. I'm not gonna lie. I remember him from a couple of years ago. I already thought he was going to be really good with his length. And how active he was in the beginning of the game against us on Tuesday was really big for them to get started. Like Claxton was a really big part of what got Brooklyn going. And I was disappointed in Chris Boucher because I thought that was a really good matchup, Claxton and Boucher. And I wanted Boucher to be the guy who shined in the first couple minutes of the game like he had before in a couple games before that. But when they matched up, Claxton was killing him. And Boucher, I don't know what's going on with him, man. He's really got to get in his head right in different ways. Yeah, Kyrie can't come to Toronto. They may want to bring Kyrie back in the fold on road games. He can't play in Brooklyn at their home court, but he's going to start playing for them on the road. It's really weird. And I understand why they're doing this because of a lot of this COVID protocol stuff, that they need bodies, and that Kyrie will be available on the road, but he won't be available to come here. No, he won't. No, he won't. If our border issues get us wins, makes up for playing in Tampa. Yeah, in some ways I believe that, but it also makes us susceptible to have a problem if there is major issues with this pandemic, as far as like traveling back and forth between the country. Like right now, I'm supposed to get on a plane on Tuesday and go to Atlanta, and I'm dreading this shit. I don't want to go. In a lot of ways, I don't want to go on this trip, because I feel like I've done a really good job during this whole pandemic of not getting exposed to anything. And I'm really putting myself at a huge risk getting in an airport and flying to Atlanta and going to Georgia. To be honest, going to the state of Georgia is not a place I want to go, because this is a pandemic and people in Georgia are not really smart in some ways with this right now. And I'd much rather be in Toronto and safe. And this is the kind of thing is that these rules are changing that quick. Like I could get up tomorrow and they could change the whole travel rules for what's going on just because of these surges right now. So it's really frustrating and just stressful travel right now. And this isn't the time of year that people want to have that kind of stress. It's the holidays. People want to go see their loved ones and do Christmas next week. But it's really kind of like, I know a lot of people are having the stress I'm having right now too. So Anselm, good morning, man. Good to see you again. Easy win. Yeah, let's get it. We have to. We got to win this game. This is like, we can't lose to these guys. I know Gary Payton II is going to be coming here and he's going to be playing tough. Kuminga's going to play tough. Looney's going to have some pride, but we can't let this collection of talent be our collection of talent, because our talent is way better than this, especially if Precious and OG are suiting up today. And that means we're only one man down, Kem Birch. So we really, really got to win this game. Starscream, Curry still has PTSD. Didn't you guys beat the Warriors by 50 last year? I don't know if it was last year. I mean, remember, we played in Tampa last year, so he hasn't come back here yet. This would have been the day that Wiggins and for them loving to beat us down in Golden State the first time we played them this season, they didn't want to come here and beat us down in our home court. I understand. They went home. Starscream, nice to have you. Thanks, Sue, for welcoming too. Yep. Andrew, shout out to Kevin Durant for always getting up to play the Raptors in Toronto, unlike the Warriors. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We can't really slight them. This is strategic, but it is something that's worked out for us. I mean, if this game had been, we would have been like Chicago or Detroit and they were coming back, they would have all played. It really is the border and the hassle and the different things. Like, they're maybe strategically thinking about it, because if they cross the border, they may fuck around and get a quarantine or something like that, or something weird happens or something like that. So they just don't even want to deal with it. They're just going straight back. So it is what it is. I think the Boucher trade rumors may be getting to him. I don't know what it is, man. I follow him really closely on Instagram and like his stuff with his video games, and he's posting a lot of hip hop songs, different things like that on there. And he's definitely got an inner battle. He's battling with something. He's battling with himself, and maybe how he feels, whether he belongs in the league or maybe how he feels in life. Because you've got to understand, this is a young man who went through a lot when he was young. Like he went through a lot in Montreal and different things. And he didn't come from a very good background in some ways. And, so he has demons. He has demons inside from his past. He has demons from different things. And also, I said this the other day that in some ways, I know he's almost 30 and I know that he's one of our older players. Like him and Kem are the two oldest players on our team with Dragic gone. But I still feel like Chris, in some ways, is not as a mature player and person as some of those other guys. And it's not his fault. It's just that's who he is. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, we'd like to see him get more concentrated and dialed into the game and not have these mental lapses and really understand and build off of his basketball IQ of what he's accrued over the years of playing in the NBA. He should have knowledge and vet instincts and things like that he's going off of. And he's admitted it even in interviews recently. He was like, I know the system. I've been here a long time. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Sometimes I just have mental lapses. And I'm just not thinking about in the moment, every single moment, what I'm doing. Because to do what you want, what Nick Nurse wants you to do in this defense, you have to be perfect. and you have to do it exactly right. And it's not totally easy. It's not like if any of us were on the team and we had to do this, we'd have a hard time and struggle too. Like as just anybody would. You have to really be a good talent, a super good talent, and really work hard. And I think that part of it is that he just has mental lapses in the game, short lapses of judgment when he's not doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing in his assignment. And a lot of people have been pointing out the different situations and scenarios where he is fucked up. And that's he's going to fuck up from time to time, but hopefully most of the time he gets it right. And he's had good stretches where he's done really well. But I think it's really like a concentration thing. It's a thing where he doesn't let his mind wander. And I think that part of that that helped recently was that he started meditating before the game. Like he said, he's doing meditation with the trainers before the game to clear his head, because it may be that he's been coming into the game with all this other bullshit in his head. Maybe he's thinking about his next twitch, or maybe he's thinking about like some issue with a woman or something like that, or different things. He just got to clear his head and get in the game and not think about anything else. Because I think that's really what's problem is it's just him concentrating. So let's keep going. Alistair, 15 off the bench from us is inexcusable. Scotty gets his 15 by himself off the bench. Yes, please. Let's see about making this move. We got a problem today. We got two guys coming back. We got to figure out who our starting lineup is going to be today. And for me, I like having a center. So if Boucher's not going to start tonight, start Precious. That makes sense. And then OG, what are we going to do? If OG is actually suited up and going to play tonight, then that may mean that we need to make that tough decision. Maybe OG comes off the bench just because he's been out for so long, or maybe Scotty finally gets that move made and our bench gets bolstered. Either way, we should see better bench production today just because of these two guys coming back. So we got to see it. Okay, Starscream, we can't keep playing KD 40 minutes, so I understand why they're doing it. Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, I don't know. He seems kind of superhuman. He's the kind of guy that can average 40 minutes a game and still be at a super level, even at the end of the season when everybody seems like they're exhausted. For some reason, I said this the other day. It's like, if a game's going to go late, even with that limited roster that the Nets had the other night, KD has an extra gear or some extra tank that he just locks in at the end of games where everybody else looks tired as fuck, and all of a sudden he still looks like he's still able to go at his regular speed. And that's just a testament to who he is. That's actually been a skill and something that he's had his whole career that I've noticed. That at a certain point at the end of the game, if it's a marathon, if it's his test of stamina and endurance, Kevin will win, because for some reason, because of his talent and the way his body is and different things. And also he's really good at conserving his energy and picking his times. That's as a snake would be, is to go and strike at the right times and not just go all out all the time. So he is very calculated and measured with his game. And that's a big secret to why Kevin Durant is so clutch at the end of games, is because he saves some good stuff for the end of games. So let's see. And that's the opposite of what we did. We went all out and we lost all our energy by the end of the game. And KD was saving some. I think so, Andrew. I think OG is back for sure. Somebody said it here. It's not totally for sure from what I've seen for sure, but it leans towards looking like that. It really does lean towards looking like that. I don't understand why he's been out for so long, but we need him tonight. We definitely need a win, Kenny. You're right. Oh my gosh, we need a win with this one tonight for sure. Yeah, Boucher was homeless at the age of 16, guys. And, he's only 29 now. So that's 13 years ago. And you got to think about that whirlwind of a life to go from there to where he's gone from that, a millionaire and like being in the NBA and stuff like that. It's not like Fred. Fred, when he was that age at like 16, he was already like a grandpa in maturity. He's even talked about that Fred inherently was a mature person as a young person. And he really, his maturity is a different kind of level up than Chris Boucher's. Chris Boucher is in a different track of maturity than Fred. Fred's like doing maturity for everybody on the team in a way right now. It's kind of scary because he's like the only big, the most mature guy and the leader of maturity on the team. But yeah, I think Boucher's doing great. Honestly, as long as he stays active, if he starts making his three, everybody will stop thinking about this. And when he gets these beautiful blocks, it's real easy for us to be like, yeah, he's a badass. We need him. So I want to see him get more blocks again. Raps have been missing 1 to 2 centers, and at least Boucher is trying to fill the role, even though he's a power forward. People need to be more patient. Yeah, he was playing center last year, and everybody kept saying we need to start him at center. And I'm like, no, that'll be a disaster because honestly, he's not a center. You put him in a bad position when he has to play centers, honestly, and it set him up to fail to a degree because of that also. So it's kind of like he's a role player off our bench. As I said before, he's kind of like an old John Spider Sally for the bad boys kind of guy. Long length and block shots, active on rebounds, and just an energy guy down around the basket. But, the new hybrid is that he can hit threes now. And John Sally couldn't shoot threes. But that really is the role I see him on this team, is like a John Sally on the old Detroit Pistons from like the late 80s. So let's keep going. Thanks for the warm welcome. You guys are awesome. I can't speak for other Nets fans. Just because we are good now doesn't mean we forget the days when we were terrible. This is everything for everybody with different franchises and stuff. Milwaukee's gotten their heyday recently too. And, I love that. I love that like different teams go up and down. And listen, this is the NBA. I hate the league. I think the league is corrupt. I think the league is fascist, but I love the Raptors. I love the team. I root for my team. And you know what? I can see the passion and love and other fans of other teams have, and I respect that because I have it myself. And you know what, there's nothing, I really do believe that sports is something that saves the world, that Olympics is something that has been incredibly powerful and important to the history of mankind, and that when nations come together and they compete against one another, they learn respect and love for each other. And it's not like tribalism where it's like, oh, it makes it more verses and stuff like that. Yeah, we say fuck Brooklyn and say stuff like that, but that's just part of the whole history and stuff. And our leader guy said it, and that's why. But it really is something that it is a uniting thing in this world. I don't think it's a divisive thing. It's like you can find common threads with each other and respect across borders and all kinds of differences in people. And I believe that's a beautiful thing. And that's an important thing in this world, because I'd much rather people play sports than war. If we're going to have things, let's work it out. Like, wouldn't that be great? We got to some point in the world where we figured out all conflict through a friendly game of basketball. That would be awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I don't want to trash other fan bases. There are some fan bases that I have very little respect for. That documentary about the Malice in the Palace made the Detroit fan base look really bad. And, I lost a lot of respect for Detroit people, especially with the perspective they have years later. They went back and interviewed some of these guys who were involved in this, the fans, and they have no remorse. They have no sense of perspective or understanding for how they fucked up and how they were knuckleheads and assholes. And they totally stand by what they did. And they said they'd do it again tomorrow. So I lost a lot of respect for them. And Philadelphia fans, you're pretty low on my list too, honestly. Just from, throwing batteries at Santa Claus and just some of the things you've said to our players during games and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of Philadelphia fans. And Boston too. I got to put them on that list. But the New York fans, most of them have been beat down for so long with the Knicks. And the Nets fan thing is a little bit more new. It's the Brooklyn Nets, we got to say this, is not the same as the New Jersey Nets. It's a very different kind of thing. When Jay-Z got involved in that franchise and they moved it and they changed the color scheme and they did all kinds of different things, that's a different team now. I know that the history bleeds into it and it's a different era, but the Brooklyn Nets are nothing like the New Jersey Nets. It's a very different thing, and that's what I would say with that. Yeah. Oh, Starscream's talking about Knicks fans. F those guys. Andrew, it would be really weird to see Scotty or GTJ on the bench, but it will have to happen. It's going to have to happen. They don't let you start 6 people. So we got to do the math. We got so many good players. This is a great problem to have. And honestly, our bench problems have been so bad. One of these guys needs to take that mantle and say, look, coach, I want to be your bench guy that's going to help you score and get these bench points up. And who's it going to be? I think it should be by seniority. I think it should be by these guys have been here longer. Pascal, Fred, and OG are made men. They have to start. They just are a part of our legacy from our championship team, and they're a part of congruency and confluence and from before. And we want them to stay in the lineup. Then we have to have a center. That's a prerequisite. So it's got to be Cameron Precious. And so that leaves one spot. And to me, Gary Trent Jr. has earned that spot in some ways more than Scotty, just because of his stellar play at both ends. And just once again, seniority. He's been in our system longer. He has more of with that team. And I think also, we may be getting a hint that Nick Nurse is going to do this because he's been playing Scotty in units with the second unit where he's the only starter and he has 4 bench guys out there with him. So he's definitely testing it out in the games to see what will happen with this. And this may be what happens. Scotty's a rookie. He's humble. He's gotten to start the beginning of his NBA career, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it'll continue. We'll see. I don't know. This is going to be a tough decision. I'm going to be really interested to see what happens. The one thing I do want to see, though, for sure, and this may be what they do, guys, is they're going to take Chris out of the starting lineup and not put Precious back. They'll put OG back in it, and it'll be Fred, Gary, OG, Pascal, and Scotty, that lineup, which I'm not a big fan of. I really don't like that necessarily because I understand, but Precious isn't going to add as much to the bench as somebody like Scotty would. Precious is more likely he could go to the bench and not get as any points off the bench either. So then you got more really good guys who are going to the bench and they're not producing because they're coming off the bench. And in some ways, all right, I can go on and on about this, but Sue, Boucher would have to have been really tough and resilient to live on the streets. So I think he can pull himself out of this. He's a survivor. Yeah, he's gone through these funks a couple times with us over the years. Like, honestly, this isn't the first time we've had this issue with Chris. That in the last 3 years or 4 years that we've had him on our roster, when he's had to play in different things, where he's gone to different levels of what he's doing, whether he's starting last year during the COVID year, or he's been like a really important bench guy before that, like coming off the bench, our first center, he's had times where he's struggled with his attention and this kind of problem before. So this is something that comes and goes with him. Sometimes he's more dialed in and sometimes he isn't. It may have something to do with his personal life and different things that are going on around him that we don't have any idea is going on. Yeah, Boston fans for sure. OG hip pointer was giving him abdominal and back pains. Wow. See, so that you bruised your hip so badly that it's actually bruised your whole insides. Wow. Yeah. And Delano. Yeah, we need to see if Delano. I don't know if Delano's back. I think he probably is because honestly, he was just sick. So if he was just having a little bit of the flu, maybe he had it for a couple of days while we had this postponement. So now it's worked out and he should be back. He's not on the list, though. I don't think so. I think he is actually not on the injury list. So Delano should be healthy. People forget Fred is only 27. I know. He's only 27 and he has the wisdom of a 37-year-old. It feels like in this league. Like he's honestly, when he was younger, he seemed like a vet already just because of the way he carried himself, his mentality, and just who he is. That's just who he is. I think it has something to do with his stepfather and his mother and the way he was raised and different things like that. He just has always carried himself with a certain level of maturity. And that it's just continued. And it's been really helpful for us as a franchise in this whole transition from Kyle Lowry leaving. Because if Fred was a normal 27-year-old, we wouldn't have any leadership on our team right now, hardly at all. It'd be really messed up. He's like an abnormal 27-year-old. So we really need to feel special and lucky to have that guy on our team. MK, tribalism isn't bad as long as tribes accept each other for who they are. Yeah. There's been so many, throughout the history and civilization of time and everything, humanity has learned so many bad lessons from tribalism and different things that could happen if you don't have understanding between each other. And, we repeat the history of the past when we don't pay attention to those lessons and we don't understand how when we divide each other, this is what happens. And that we're all really one. Because, honestly, I look at this planet as one big, huge organism, and we're the parasites that just live on the skin of it, that there's a living and breathing heart inside the Earth's core, and that we are minuscule in the whole scheme of things. And when you think about it that way, we're all really are one. Because, we mess up this planet. We don't have anywhere to go, and we're all in it on this. That's why the short-sightedness of this capitalistic, use everything up and make money off it as quick as possible just to make that bottom line profit is going to destroy our Earth. And it's so short-sighted and it's the worst because this is the only place we get and we need to take care of it and make sure it's healthy. And we're not doing that. There was a lot of bad things happening. Anyway, I don't want to go too into politics and environmentalism and things like that because I will get into that. Oh, yeah. I feel very strongly about that kind of stuff, too. Okay, Scotty's stats will go up in the second unit. I think that's true, too. And we talked about it before. It's partly because he's going to be playing against the second team talent from the other team. And also starters get tired. He can get in there and be fresh against like the top tier talent from the starting team. So I think that it is a good move. I think it's the best move, Nick. And I don't know if we see it debut tonight with the Golden State game, but who knows? We'll see. So, yeah, let's just go over it again real quick. This is Golden State's players for tonight. Kevon Looney, Gary Payton II, Damian Lee, Chris Chiozza, Juan Toscano Anderson, Jonathan Kuminga, Nemanja Bjelica, Moses Moody, and that's pretty much it, guys. You notice you don't probably know a lot of those names because they're not coming in. They didn't even come into the country. They flew straight to California from Boston last night, winning against the Celtics. And Steph and Draymond and Iggy and Wiggy, and they're all in California. They're not here. So, all right, Raptors, let's go. We got to beat the Warriors tonight. Oh, yeah, we got to beat them for sure. Get them some payback for beating us earlier this season in Golden State. I don't care which team shows up. They send us whatever team they want to send us, and we got to try and beat whoever they try and send us. And we definitely got to win this one tonight because it is kind of insulting in a lot of ways, but it is also very strategic, and I understand why Steve Kerr is doing this. But you know what he called this game today? Steve Kerr said that this game is a free swing. That's what he called it. He said, I'm so happy with this road trip and how well we did that this game today against Toronto is a free swing. Ugh. I hope that Nick Nurse tells everybody on the Raptors that today. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go, Raptors. Thank you, Andrew, Starscream, Sue, G, Alistair, Kenny, Alan Anselm, everybody for being here this morning. I appreciate y'all. MK47, Click 2 a.m. Have a great weekend, a great snowy weekend. Let's watch a good game tonight, and then Orlando on Monday. And, oh, man, let's just hope and keep our fingers crossed that no more of this, like, protocols and different things and stupid things that are happening in the world right now get worse and worse because we don't need a shutdown. We don't need any kind of injuries or people missing games because we're getting our guys back. And this may be a really good time to get all our guys back because the rest of the league is reeling from all kinds of stuff. All these teams we're playing recently have COVID problems, and we don't, thank God. So let's keep this going, and let's pounce on them. There's no mercy. Just because teams are down and they don't have enough guys, like this Brooklyn game this other day and the game today, we need to make sure we win. We cannot have any mercy. All right, let's go, Raptors Nation. Oh, yeah, baby. We're going to beat the Warriors tonight. I feel good. We better beat the Warriors.